Okay, so let's start. Okay, so let's have the first question. Leseroy is a grade 6 student who is having difficulties in spelling simple words. He is also confusing letters with similar shapes like P and Q. When reading words out loud, he is mixing up the position of sounds in a word. He pronounces animal to aminal. What type of learning disability is this called? Please type in your answers if you wish to participate, of course. Okay, I have here, okay, answers. Yes, it's letter C po, dyslexia. Okay. Um, Before we delve into the different options, let us have yung idea. Okay? I'm sure you've heard this sa mga previous let questions. Ano nga ba yung idea? It's basically the cornerstone of special education laws. Ito po talaga yung pinaka-popular kasi galing siya sa US. Okay? Basically, sa idea, it ensures that the students with disabilities are provided with what we call FAPE. Okay? FAPE is free, appropriate public education. I will repeat. FAPE is free, appropriate public education. So under the idea, there are 13 categories of disabilities. Okay? Um, bakit, ano ba at para saan ba ang idea? Sa idea po kasi, binibigyan natin ng special education services yung mga batang may disabilities. Pero, yun ay kung kasama lang sila sa 13 categories of disabilities. Okay? So, ito po yung 13 categories na yun. Number one is autism. Number two is deaf blindness. Number three is deafness. Number four is yung emotional and behavioral disorders or disabilities. So basically sa emotional behavioral disabilities or disorders, kasama po doon yung schizophrenia, kasama po doon ang depression at anxiety. I hope you know the difference between depression and anxiety. Pero if you don't know, when we say depression po, usually yun yung you're bothered by something that happened in the past. Okay, ganun na lang, para may distinction. You're bothered by something that happened in the past, but if it's anxiety, you're actually afraid of what will happen in the future. Okay? And usually yung anxiety, characterized siya by panic attacks. Yun yung sinasabi nating panic attacks na minsan nilulublob natin yung faces natin sa yellow, ganun, para to be grounded. Okay? Para kumalma din tayo and to be grounded. Sa depression naman po, usually, yun yung kapag hindi ka makagawa ng everyday tasks mo. May mga times na you just want to sleep in bed, tapos you just want to use your phone, or you sleep. Ganon. Usually, yun yung mga signs of depression and anxiety. Siyempre, hindi naman siya for like quite while, but for a long period of time. Okay? So, next, the fifth one is hearing impairment. Okay? Hearing impairment po, pwedeng complete loss of hearing or pwedeng partial lang or parang reduced hearing lang. Deafness, pwede yun. Next, we have intellectual disability. Yung below average intellectual functioning, yung tinatawag natin before na mental retardation, tinatawag din nila before na mga slow learners daw po, quote and quote, kasi very derogatory po yung ganong term. So, maglalagay tayo ng quote, okay? Next po, we have multiple disabilities. Okay? Pag multiple disability, it's basically just a combination of two disabilities. Number 8 ay yung orthopedic impairment. So, orthopedic impairment ay physical disability po. Okay? So, kasama po, pinaka-common yung mga amputations, yung mga nawalan ng sa paa or ng kamay, ganun, or cerebral palsy po. Yun yung isa sa, dalawa sa pinaka-common example of orthopedic impairment. Later on, we will discuss po, don't worry. And then we have other health impairment or OHI. Ang other health impairment, kasama dyan ng ADHD. Okay? ADHD, which is yung attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Okay? We also have diabetes, lahat cancer, yung mga may asthma. Kasama din po siya actually sa special education. Okay? Kasi meron din tayong mga students na parang homebound or hospital-bound, pinupuntahan din po yan talaga ng mga SPED teachers natin. We also have yung specific learning disability. Okay? Specific learning disability, kasama yung mga options natin dyan, except yung dysfunction, kasi syempre made up lang yon. Sinama ko lang na word. Okay? Tapos, 11 ay speech and language impairment. Tapos, traumatic brain injury. And then, number 13 ay yung visual impairment or yung kasama na rin po dito yung blindness. Okay? Pero for this item, let's focus on the specific learning disabilities. Okay? Ano nga ba yung SLD? Okay? Since alam ninyo na ang dyslexia ay usually sinasabi na yung mga hindi makapagbasa, gano'n, di ba? Nilabel ka agad sila. Pero actually, magkahiwalay po yung categories na yun. Okay? We have yung intellectual disabilities, yung below average po talaga yung kanilang IQ. Tapos iba rin po ang specific learning disability. Bakit po sila na iba? Sa tingin ninyo? Opo, sobrang hirap po magturo ng mga pasensya na po ngayon ko lang nakita. Sobrang hirap po magturo. Pero po, sobrang rewarding. Mahirap lang sa umpisa kasi you're getting to know the learners. Pero Diyos ko, sobrang rewarding po ng aming field. Opo, yes po. Yes po. Kasama rin po kayo sa 13 categories ng learning disabilities. So basically, ito pong SLD, Specific Learning Disabilities, kasama yung tatlo na nabanggit sa options. Bakit siya naiiba sa intellectual disability? Dahil sa intellectual disability, ang minimeasure po usually natin ay yung adaptive functioning skills at IQ. Sa specific learning disability, not necessarily na hindi sila average or not necessarily na below average sila. It's just that meron po talagang neurological basis dyan. Iba lang po talaga yung processing ng brain nila at hindi iba rin po yung pag-i-interpret nila ng information. Pero hindi ibig sabihin na quote-unquote slow learners yung mga may specific learning disabilities. Sino po ba ito? Number one, of course, yung types ng specific learning disabilities ay yung dyslexia. Ayan. Yung dyslexia po, it will include yung reading skills. Kasama na po dun yung decoding nila, yung fluency, at saka yung comprehension nila. So, usually, yung mga batang to, yung mga symptoms nila, yung mali-mali yung spelling, poor spelling, tapos minsan mabagal sila magbasa, tapos minsan hindi nila na-recognize yung words. Pero syempre kailangan po may assessment tong mga to kasi hindi naman tayo pwede mag-assume lang, 'di ba? So kailangan may psychological assessment po tong mga to. Okay? So yung dyslexia, yun yung alam niyo po ba yung alam niyo po ba yung film na Percy Jackson, tama ba? And the Lightning Thief, yun ba? Yung nagja-jumble yung words or sumasayaw yung mga letters, ganun. Ganun po siya. Actually, parang ganun siya. It's just that different levels lang, different types and intensities for different students. Okay? Next po, we have dysgraphia. Dysgraphia is your writing ability. Dyslexia, reading. Okay? Dysgraphia is your writing ability. So, kasama dun yung handwriting, kasama dun yung spelling, kasama dun yung pag-organize ng mga thoughts before ilagay or isulat sa papers. Okay? Ano ba? Kasi meron din kaming may dysgraphia before na na-encounter ko sa SPED Center. very inconsistent yung spacing niya. Talaga, super. Kumbaga, magkalapit to, tapos yung susunod medyo malayo na or nasa kabilang linya na, ganon. Ganon siya ka-inconsistent. Ganon. Tapos, pag may dysgraphia ka, even though you have like the, you know, the topic or meron kang idea on what to say or what to say or what to write on your paper, minsan nahihirapan ka talaga dun sa mismong writing na. Okay? Dysgraphia naman writing. Dyslexia reading. Dyscalculia naman po ay, syempre, yung mga mathematical abilities. Okay? Kasama na dito yung numbers. Kahit yung pag-understand lang ng concept ng numbers. Okay? Yung calculations, yung basic arithmetic like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. More so pag problem solving po. Okay? Usually, kailangan ng support ng mga batang ito kasi kahit yung pag-understand ng concept of money and concept of time, yon, even time, nahihirapan sila. Kasama na rin dito sa dyscalculia, syempre, yung yung abstract reasoning, yung sa patterns, yon, kasama na rin po dito. And another specific learning disability na hindi sinasama usually sa mga lectures, ayan, may freebie na kayo. May freebie na agad kayo sa akin, ha? Ito yung non-verbal learning disorder. Okay? Ano ba yung non-verbal learning disorder? Marami actually yung mga usually sa mga learners with autism, nahihirapan po sila mag identify ng facial expressions and ng body language. Yun. Ito po yung non-verbal learning disorder. Though, baka hindi siya lumabas ng let, pero I heard na yung last let daw po. Marami daw po yan. Meron daw pong dyslexia. Okay? So, ayan, sana basa-basahin natin. And kahit makinig lang kayo sa lecture ko, actually, yun na yung gist ng dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia. Okay. Ano po ang causes ng SLD? Of course, number one na nasabi ko, yung brain structure tapos yung functioning. Siyempre, hindi mawawala yung genetic factors. Baka meron sa family ninyo na may learning disability before. And yung environmental factors, which are yung poor prenatal care, maaring na-stress masyado yung mother or na-expose siya sa toxins or pwedeng actually parang early childhood trauma kasama din po yan or early childhood stress kasama din po yan. So yun, kasi tandaan natin na ang early years ng isang bata para silang sponge na lahat halos gusto nila i-absorb. Mabilis sila mag-absorb dyan. So kahit yung emotions nila at stake din kahit na yung parang sinisigawan mo sila kasi magde-determine na yun ng kanilang adulthood di ba? So kung maganda yung childhood mo, maganda rin actually more likely ang iyong adulthood. Okay. Next slide po. Okay. Number 7. Keisha's mental age. Ayan, si Keisha po kasi yung pusa namin. Okay, naalala ko lang. Keisha's mental age is 8 and his chronological age is 10. Okay? You compute for Keisha's IQ score. Okay. A, 75. B, 78. C, 80. D, 85. Hello po. Scoliosis. Scoliosis genetics din po ba yun? Actually, I'm quite not sure if kasama din po yun sa genetics or ano ba, acquired ba siya? Kasi may physical therapist po kung kaklase sa masters tapos hindi ko naman din po natanong pero I'll get back to that question. At para pipicturean ko talaga yan and then sasabihin ko kay Miss Judy or sa LEAP po na sabihin ng answer sa inyo, sir. Thank you po for clarifying that kasi ako din I'm quite not sure kung acquired ba siya or genetics. Yes po, the answer is letter C. Yes po, it's letter C. Ang gagaling nyo naman. Ang gagaling nyo talaga mag-compute, ano. Ang gagaling sa math. Okay. So basically, to compute for Keisha's IQ, we have yung mental age, yung given natin which is mental age 8, chronological natin ay 10. So 8 divided by 10 times 100. Mental age divided by chronological age times 100. Okay. When we say chronological age, that is your based on the day you were born, syempre sa biological po yan. Pag sinabi naman nating mental age, yun yung based on your academic capacity or sa academic skills. No? Okay? So, dun po binibase yung IQ. So, 80 ang IQ ni Keisha. Later on, we will know, ayan, andito na pala, we will know later on kung ano ba siya, kasama ba siya sa mga learners with intellectual disability. Okay? Ano nga po ba, first, ang intellectual disability? Yon, nagkakaroon sila ng significant limitations sa intellectual functioning. Pag sinabing intellectual functioning, kasama ang reasoning, ang learning, at saka ang problem solving. At saka adaptive behavior. Okay, I will repeat, adaptive behavior. Pag adaptive, that's ADAPTIVE, adaptive behavior, yun yung everyday social and practical skills. Okay, kasama dyan yung pagkain, dressing up, pagtie ng shoelace, ayan, pag toothbrush kasama sa adaptive behavior. So, hindi lang po IQ ang mini-measure ng intellectual disability. Kasama po dito yung adaptive behavior na tinatawag natin. Okay? So, basically, sa ID, they were diagnosed na before they reached the age of 18. Okay? Kasi minsan, very, ano na siya, very obvious na siya for some learners or some students. Okay? Now, how do we or what standards do we use or criteria do we use in identifying learners with intellectual disability? We use that DSM-5. Okay? Ito pong DSM-5, it is used by the American Psychiatric Association, yung APA, yung sa may APA citation, yun po yun, APA. Yung DSM-5, it stands for Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for Mental Disorders, 5th edition. Okay? It is published by the APA. Okay? Kasama po siya, ginagamit po siya ng mga mental health professionals. Di ba? Kailangan ng psychological assessment or psychological tests. Dito po siya kasama. Okay? So, ito po yung criteria nila. For mild intellectual disability, we have 50 to 69 dapat ang IQ. Mild intellectual disability, 50 to 69 yung IQ. So, pag mild lang po, kaya naman nila actually ma-reach hanggang grade 6. Kaya po nila. Yung iba nakakapag-high school pa po eh. Okay? At kaya rin nila yung adaptive skills, yung sa dressing up, eating, walang problema. Konti lang yung support. Siguro instructions lang na konti. Ganon. Okay din sila sa financial management when it comes to monies, ganon. Pero may limitations lang sila siguro sa pakikipag-usap, sa social communication. Syempre, yung mga medyo yung mga mahabang sentences, baka mahirap for them to comprehend or to get all the information out of it. So, siguro simple at saka slow, ano lang. Pero hindi naman po, parang hindi naman ethical when you, for example, di ba yung kunwari may hearing impairment, ganun. Tapos parang, minsan, sila na-offend po sila kapag yung nilalakasan ninyo, ganun. May hearing aid naman sila and perfectly well naman ang hearing nila with that hearing aid, ganun. So, kailangan lang talaga natin din, kilalanin yung person, di ba? Before tayo mag-assume, ganun. So, ayun. Sa mild intellectual disability, usually hindi sila nakakapag-senior high school, ganun siguro, or hindi nakakapag-college. So, moderate intellectual disability, ang IQ po nila ay 35 to 49. Okay? Meron naman silang self-care skills, yung adaptive po. Pero, siguro ang kaya lang nilang i-reach ay early elementary level, mga ganon. Or siguro kaya nila hanggang grade 4, ganon. Pero with the support talaga of the Gen Ed teacher and special ed teacher. Tapos, kailangan na rin nila ng support sa daily living, tsaka sa environment. Okay? Siguro when it comes to work, ganon, pag yung mga, alimbawa, yung mga hindi naman magre-require ng sobrang analytical skills, yon, siguro pwede po sila sa mga ganon. Okay? Dapat din may supervision pa rin sila. Kasi ano na po siya, moderate na po siya na intellectual disability. Okay? Sa next naman po ay yung severe intellectual disability. 20 to 34 na po yung IQ nila. 20 to 34. Severe intellectual disability. May limitation na sila sa communication. Tapos, extensive na support sa self-care at saka daily activities. Siguro talagang kailangan mo sila i-instruct. Ako, pasensya na po. Kailangan mo po silang i-instruct with how they eat, what do they eat, tapos mga ganun po. Okay? Ayan, mga nanghula. Oo, kaya madaming C dito. Yes po, power of C. Maraming C dito kasi I'm a believer. Okay? Ayan, going back po, marami din sa severe intellectual kasi marami na rin silang physical impairments tapos mga health problems. Okay? Sa profound naman po, yung mga IQ below 20. Okay, ang nireview ko lang po nito actually nung ay nag-focus ako doon sa numbers. Okay? At saka doon sa support. Okay. Sige, balikan natin para sige, sa profound intellectual disability, ang IQ nyo below 20. Okay? Ito, kailangan na talaga ito, kailangan dependent na sila. Okay, yun na lang, para hindi tayo malito. Pag profound, dependent na sila sa caregivers nila, sa family members nila. Okay? Yun na. And talagang hindi nila kayang alagaan yung sarili nila. Okay? Profound intellectual disability. Balik tayo sa severe. Okay? Pag severe naman, parang extensive support. May support pa din. Support pa din siya. Hindi siya dependent, pero extensive yung support. Pag severe intellectual disability, 20 to 34. Okay? Moderate intellectual disability, 35 to 49. Okay? Kailangan lang nila ng regular support. Okay? Pag moderate, regular support sa daily living. Yan, para hindi tayo para hindi tayo malito. Pag mild intellectual disability naman po, they can live independently with minimal support. Okay? 50 to 69 naman po. Mild intellectual disability, 50 to 69. Okay. Ito po, important notes, hindi lang po nasusukat sa IQ level or sa IQ score rather ang intellectual disability. Kasama din po yung adaptive functioning na sinasabi ko. And then, environmental factors could actually influence intellectual disability. Okay? Tapos, yung support level for each of, or for learners with intellectual disability is different. Kahit na magkaparehas pa silang severe, magkaparehas silang profound, kasi nga, malaking factor po ang environment. Okay? Okay. Ano po yung types? Okay. Parang types, rundown lang po ito. Para alam niyo kasi baka laging nasa let po ito usually, let reviewer, yung chromosome 21, yung extra copy of chromosome 21. Okay, ano po yan? Sige. Parang nagalit. Ano po yung chromosome 21? Extra copy of chromosome 21. Okay, let's go. Yes po, it's Down syndrome. Okay. Paano kung Okay. Sige. Mamaya na lang para iano muna natin. Ano po yung Down syndrome? Kasama din po siya sa intellectual disability. Yun po usually, sila po yung halos magkakaparehas po. Yes po. It's trisomy 21 po, Down syndrome. Halos magkakaparehas po sila ng ano. Ayan, alam ko siguro kung saan mo binase yung question na yan, sir. Yung trisomy 21 dahil nahook din ako dyan nung nagre-review ako. Actually, yung Down syndrome kasama sa ID. Okay? And then, meron pa pong isa, yung Fragile X syndrome. Okay? Kasama din po yan sa intellectual. Pero may developmental issues na po siya. Okay? Yung sa Fragile X naman po, ganun din po. May difficulties din po siya sa academics. Sa academics nila. Tapos, bakit siya natawag na Fragile X ba? Kasi, pag tinignan mo kasi yung it came from like sa chromosome din po. Kasi pag tinignan mo sa microscope yung X chromosome, para siyang broken or fragile. Kaya siya naging Fragile X. Yan, di ko makakalimutan yan. Ang another name for that is Martin-Bell syndrome. Ayun, Martin-Bell syndrome din po. Pag may Fragile X syndrome po, mahirapan din sila sa math, delay ng pagtutok nila, low intelligence quotients, yung IQ score po nila. Usually may anxiety sila, may depression, at saka may mga obsessive compulsive behaviors din po sila. Okay? Bakit parang hindi na naglo-load sa akin yung Yes po. So, naku, may ganyan din po ako, Chase. Okay. Actually nga, medyo naglalaro ang tadhana kasi I'm actually, sa January, I will be teaching math na. Kaya, hindi naman po ako yung sobrang nahihirapan sa math. Pero, it's not one of my strengths either. But then, I'm trying to learn. Hindi pa po huli para matuto, di ba? Okay. So, eto po, prenatal factors. Naku, ang saya-saya talaga pag may ka-interact sa Okay, prenatal factors po ng intellectual disability. Yung mga maternal infections like, during habang pregnancy, during pregnancy, yung mga infections, yung mga sakit from the mothers, ganun po. Tapos yung pag-inom ng alak, ganun, drugs, ganyan, hindi po maganda. Tapos yung pag malnourished yung mother, ganun, isa po yan sa mga factors for that. Tapos marami pa po, kahit yung yung mga childhood diseases, yung mga meningitis, encephalitis, ayan. Kaya nagkakaroon po ng disabilities yung mga bata usually. And of course, yung environmental factors. Ayan. Maging aware tayo when buying like plastic wares, lalo sa bahay. Kasi yung sa lead, yung mercury, 'di ba, nasa balita na ang dami ng mga cheap items, plastic items that we can buy na out here sa Pilipinas, sa mga plaza, ganun. Just be careful na lang. Okay. Let's have the next item po. Number 8. Ayun. Thank you. A student deliberately fails his exams in order to have a sense of belongingness with his classmates. So, to what profile of gifted learners does he belong? A, the underground, B, the autonomous learner, C, the creative, and D, the successful. Type in your answers, please. Actually, ang giftedness po, hindi na siya kasama sa special education. Hindi na po siya kasama. Hindi na rin po namin siya kinikater sa SNED resource rooms. Hindi na rin po. Ayan po, type in your answers po. Yan talaga, lagi hinahanap ni Mama, plastic items, tapos kinakapihan. pa kahit opo. Ay naku, kahit kami rin po sa bahay kasi ang mura, 'di ba? Lahat na po ng bilihin ngayon ang mahal. So parang kahit ako din po magre-resort na rin ako sa plastic wares. Basta maging careful na lang din po tayo, especially for the kids. Ayan, okay. Okay lang po kung hula. Nako, ako nga din po nung mga first few months, parang mga 2 months ata na ano, ang dami ko ring mali pag nagre-review. Yes po, the answer is letter A po, the underground. Okay. Okay. Gifted students, let's start with that. Gifted students in special education are children and youth who have exceptional abilities, talents, or potential. Okay, that exceeds the performance of the average students or the regular students. Okay, so basically sila yung mga magagaling sa reasoning, math, yan, mga gifted, magaling sa critical thinking skills, ganyan. Tapos madami silang usually sila yung mga leaders, 'di ba? Sa academics, sa arts, yan. Okay. So, ano po ba yung challenging indicators na lang? Okay? Ano po yung mga downsides, ganun ba, ng mga gifted students po? Ano yung mga downsides sila? Yun yung mga parang yung mga reasons kung bakit dapat kasama sila sa learners with disabilities. Okay? Number 1 po, they easily lose interest sa repetitive tasks or standard curriculum. Kaya nga dapat kasama pa rin sa SPED ang gifted students. Kasi kailangan meron silang different and enriched program. 'Di ba? Parang sa ID rin, dapat iba rin yung minomodify ang curriculum nila, 'di ba? Dapat i-minomodify din yung curriculum ng gifted students kasi madali silang mawala ng interest. Number 2, perfectionism. Okay? They have high expectations for themselves. Kaya nga minsan, yung mga gifted students, may mga gifted students na nagpo-push through talagang academic achiever, pero yung iba hindi na nagiging academic achiever, pero gifted talaga sila. Kasi they are afraid of failing and they are afraid of making mistakes. Okay? And then number 3 na lang. Number 4 na agad ako. Number 3 ay yung social difficulties. Minsan nahihirapan sila makipag-usap with their peers kasi yung maturity levels. Okay? Yung mental age nila, naalala nyo, mental age nila might be 12 pero ang chronological lang pala ng mga 8, ganong level. Siyempre, iba na rin yung interest nila, iba na rin ang way of talking and topics that they want to discuss. Next, yung non-conformity to rules. Parang minsan, ayaw nila ng mga traditional na teaching methods na yung parang lecture method, parang ganito. Gusto nila very interactive. Ganun. And then, next po, yung parang yung hyperness, yung parang over-excitabilities, parang may heightened emotional sensory, tapos intellectual intensity talaga sila. Kumbaga, ito yung mga tipo ng mga students na bigla na lang may questions sa class, mag-i-interrupt sa class, gano'n. Tapos meron pala silang mga insightful observations. Gano'n, pag naging teacher po kayo, ako i-encourage niyo po yan. Parang ganito, pag may mali po akong sinabi, nako please, sa aking mga gifted listeners, wow, ng mga gifted listeners, please, mag-ano kayo, type in po, comment nyo yan, sige. Ayan, kasali po ba si Sheldon na, yes po, naku, favorite character kin si Sheldon, napaka-cute niya. Though, medyo hindi siya very, hindi siya very accurate, pero okay na rin. Para sa isang show na sobrang na-enjoy ko talaga. Ganda ng Sheldon. Okay, ayan na, punta na tayo sa types, okay? Ito po, ibubulong ko lang sa inyo, talagang kasama po siya sa LET review, even before, okay? Yung una is yung underground. Okay? Okay? Yun po yung answer natin. Yung underground, pasensya na po. Okay. Yung underground, yun yung mga types of students na hina-hide nila or sinusuppress nila yung kanilang abilities para lang mag-fit in sila sa mga peers nila. Okay? The word there is downplaying their talents. Okay? Nag-underperform sila kasi ayaw nilang ma-label as different. They want to fit in. Okay? So, social belonging kapag underground. Okay? Next, we have yung autonomous learner. Pag autonomous learner, yun yung self-directed sila. Okay? They are very confident. They are very independent. Okay? At saka, yes, independent sila, thriving sila sa academics nila. Okay? At saka hindi nila babaguhin yung sarili nila. Autonomous po ito at autonomous learner, hindi nila isosuppress yung abilities nila just for peer connections or peer acceptance. Okay? Pag sinabing the creative, ito po yung mga original thinkers. Okay? Original thinkers who may challenge the norms. They could display siguro yung mga unconventional behavior. Pero sila usually yung parang nagsa-struggle sila with authority or school systems. Kasi parang kini-question nila yung rules that are present, even the truth. Kasi yung kapatid ko po kasi, she was actually assessed din as superior po yung kanyang IQ. So ganito siya, parang very matanong siya growing up. Ngayon college naman na siya. Okay. Ngayon po we have next yung the successful. Okay. Ay naku. Oo, perfectionist po. Ayaw maki-join sa game. Oo, usually ganun. Ang dami ngayon actually, teachers ang dami. Hindi lang students, pati parents perfectionist. 'Di ba? Pati yung mga parents natin ay perfectionist kaya medyo dapat maging tayo maging careful tayo with our words, lalo na ang pag-compute ng grades, 'di ba? Okay. Next we have yung the successful. These learners excel in traditional school systems. Okay, yung successful. Kasi their only goal is to strive for good grades and for teachers' approval. Okay? Yun yung successful. Ayaw din nila makifit in at hindi rin sa character nila yung mag-underperform to fit in sa mga sa mga peer groups. Okay? Yun po. Underground, ano nga ba yun? Autonomous, successful, and then creative. Ano po yung mga strategies natin for gifted students? Please makinig po kayo dito. Ayan, strategies nga. Number one is yung cluster grouping. Okay? Usually, pag cluster grouping, 4 to 8 students tapos sa iisang groups. Okay? Kasama siya, magkakasama yung Gen Ed students at saka yung gifted learners. Okay? Cluster grouping. Gayun na lang, para hindi po tayo malito. Cluster grouping, magkasama sila. Enrichment clusters naman, para siyang interest-based groups. Tapos, it's more focused on providing, pasensya na po. Ang ingay nila. It's more focused on providing or providing opportunities for the learners to explore their passions. Okay? Examples of enrichment clusters are yung robotics, creative writing, yan. Yung mga environmental science na yan, gano'n. Yun yung enrichment clusters. Usually, yun yung mga after school, mga weekend activities, gano'n, pwede yun. Yun yung kasama sa enrichment. Kasi ini-enrich niya yung parang passion or yung talent ng isang learner. Pag cluster grouping, kasama yung Gen Ed student at saka yung gifted learner. Pag pull out, okay, pull out programs naman po, tinatanggal yung mga gifted students from the general classroom. Okay? Tinatanggal siya sa isang, for example, di ba, merong isang buong araw. Meron lang specific time na aalis yung mga gifted learners tapos ipupunta sila sa pull-out programs. Okay? Kasi sa pull-out sorry po, programs na ito, magkakaroon sila ng differentiated instruction. So, parang, no, not differentiated instruction, pasensya na po. Parang specialized instruction rather for gifted students. Mas challenging at mas at par with their abilities and skills. Okay? Pwede siya parang mga once a week, ganun lang siguro, once a week na they will attend yung creative writing workshop. Okay. Ano pa po yung mga other instructional strategies na pwedeng lumabas sa LET? Number 1 ay yung tiering. Tiering, T-I-E-R-I-N-G. Tiering. Okay. Basically, yung asang assignment, pag tiering, okay, yung isang assignment, may different types of difficulties siya to cater to the different types of learners. Yung assignment pwedeng iba sa gifted students, iba sa average, at kung may ID, may intellectual disability, iba din yung for them. Pero actually, isang topic lang yung yung assignment nilang yun. Okay? Usually yun lang yun. Pero please, do research on tiering kasi lumalabas po yan. Okay po, may isang message po. Okay. Parang dyan ko na lang successful. Yes po, ako rin po. Self-proclaimed gifted student na rin po ako. Okay, kahit walang assessment. Okay, so next po we have yung peer tutoring. Alam niyo po ba yung peer tutoring? Okay, since hindi pala to parang voice Since yung peer tutoring lang po is yung isang bata na gifted tapos regular student, tuturuan niya yung regular student. Yun lang po, peer tutoring. Tutor niya yung mga peers niya. Ganun. Okay. Ano pa ba? Yun lang po for the gifted student. Ngayon, since wala po akong question, akala ko kasi limited lang to talagang 5 questions lang. Wala na akong question for this. Pero let's discuss autism spectrum disorder po. Okay? ASD, yan, makinig po tayong lahat, okay? It's a developmental disorder, okay? Usually, ang pinaka-obvious talaga sa mga learners with ASD ay yung kanilang social interactions. Minsan hindi sila, yung sinasabi ninyong hindi makatingin sa mata, kaya minsan yung mommy ko kasi nagtuturo din siya ng SPED. Yung isa niyang co-teacher sabi niya dun sa student na may autism, "You look into my eyes." Or face front, sabi. Hindi, kahit na mag-face front at saka sabihin mo na tumingin sa mata mo, hindi niya talaga kaya. Okay? Hindi niya talaga kaya at huwag mong pipilitin kasi maririnig ka niya regardless kung saan nakatingin yung mga mata niya. Okay? So, kaya po siya autism spectrum disorder kasi napakalawak po ng ASD. Ibig sabihin, maraming types of autism spectrum disorder. Okay? Kahit na meron tayo yung parang mild, severe, moderate, ganun, marami pa rin po siyang type. So, hindi natin pwedeng i-generalize lahat ng mga symptoms na sasabihin natin mamaya. Symptoms or characteristics rather. Okay? Ano po yung characteristics ng ASD? Number 1 palagi, social communication at interaction. Okay? Nahihirapan sila, number 1 yung eye contact. Tapos nahihirapan din sila i-understand yung body language ng mga tao. at saka yung conversations, hindi rin sila nag-initiate ng conversations. Most of them at early age ay non-verbal. Ibig sabihin, hindi po sila nagsasalita. Okay? Sa early age po nila. Tapos, nahihirapan din sila tignan minsan yung facial expressions. Yung mga social cues na sinasabi natin, nahihirapan po sila. Pero it's different for every learner, ha? Ayan. Number 2 ay yung repetitive behaviors. Ayun. Repetitive behaviors at saka restricted interests. Okay? Marami po silang repetitive movements. Yun yung hand flapping, ganito, ganyan, ganon. Mga rocking, ganon, ganon. Or yung pagpapantay-pantay ng mga bagay. Pero isa sa mga very noticeable for children with ASD ay sobrang gustong-gusto nila ng round things, yung mga pabilog, gustong-gusto po nila ng gano'n. And also, yung mga sensory activities, ganun, mga sensory activities, mas gusto po nila yun. Pag verbal lang na sabihin mo na, halika dito, hindi talaga siya pupunta. Kailangan ng physical prompt. Pag physical prompt, kailangan hawakan mo siya sa shoulders kung gusto niya, tapos papuntahin mo siya sa'yo. Kasi minsan hindi ka rin niya naririnig. Kaya nga po yung mga students with autism minsan, kahit nasaktan niyo siya, i-pinch ninyo, minsan hindi nila nararamdaman. Kahit na mauntog, ganun, hindi nila nararamdaman halos. Kasi hindi sila focused dun sa moment. Kumbaga parang nasa ibang planeta yung kanilang focus. Ganun. Hindi dahil, mataas po talaga yung pain tolerance sila dahil hindi sila focused dun sa moment. Tandaan ninyo na ang pain is only psychological. Kaya nga meron tayong tinatawag na mind over matter, di ba? Na sometimes, pag di mo alam na may sugat ka, di ba? Parang hindi naman ganun kasakit. Pero pag nalaman mo na, may scratch ako, ayan, magpapabebe na yan. Tatawagan na yung mga, boyfriends and girlfriends nila. Nasugat ako, ako dun sa ganun, yun, di ba? Gawain ko kasi yan, kaya ganyan, kaya alam na alam, di ba? Okay. Ano po? Yes, napaisip ako kung yung giftedness. Nice question po. Giftedness po ba ay enough to warrant an IEP? Kindly expound po dyan, ma'am. What were you trying po? Is it enough to have yung IEP nila or magkaroon ng IEP nila? Kasi if that's the case po ay ayan, parang mayroong like kung gifted yung bata, walang ibang disabilities. Okay. Actually, dati talaga ginagawan po ng IEP yung mga learners who are gifted, okay? Or who have giftedness. Talagang meron po silang IEP. Kaya lang ngayon, wala na po. Kapag hindi na po sila gifted, dito sa Philippines, kasi tinanggal na nila, hindi na po siya kasama sa special education services. Next po, we have yung Asperger syndrome kasi very popular siya. Pag Asperger, ito yung mga may average to above average intelligence. Pag may Asperger syndrome ka, hindi necessarily matalino ka kaagad or gifted ka kaagad. Kasi sabi nila pag may autism spectrum tapos Asperger syndrome daw ay matalino agad. No. Actually, average to above average lang talaga po siya. Marami pa po actually. Ano pa ba yung yung childhood disintegrative disorder. Okay. Childhood disintegrative disorder. Okay. Rare form of autism po siya. Actually, ito yung, sorry po, maingay. Yung childhood in disintegrative disorder, yun, nung early years ng bata, okay pa po siya. Normal pa po siya. Pero, after siguro magkakaroon na siya ng regression after few years. In my case, I have like a student with ASD na may childhood disintegrative disorder. Nag-pop up lang po ba siya? Nag-pop up lang po siya na-assess lang po siya rather nag-pop up. 12 years old. Opo. Oo nga, sana po baguhin yung rule. Super po. Kasi nagturo din po ako ng gifted student sa Baguio Pet Center. Naku, kailangan din po nila ng support kasi very sensitive din po sila. At saka gusto nila yung mga activities talagang paspasan. Kasi naboboard sila. Minsan umaalis na lang sila. Nag-walk out daw sila. Ganun. Pero wala pa naman nag-walk out sa klase ko. Thankfully. Thankfully. Okay. Next po ay yung Rett syndrome. Okay. Kasi nakita ko sa TikTok yung Rett syndrome. Okay. Usually ang Rett syndrome po ay mas dominant po siya sa girls. Okay? Tapos parang normal development siya sa 6 to 18 months ng mga girls. Tapos nagkakaroon na ng parang regression sa motor skills, ganun. Tapos yung mga hand movements, nagde-decline pati yung academic, yung cognitive, ganun. Nagkakaroon din sila ng parang mga abnormalities when it comes to paghinga, breathing, ganun. Tapos may seizures din. Yun yung Rett syndrome. Very very, tawag dito, very rare, very dominant siya, predominantly affecting girls kesa sa boys. Okay, let's have the next question po. Pasensya na, matagal ako Next question po, Kia has ADHD and is always observed by her teachers to be fidgeting and restless in class. Which symptom is being described by the teacher? A. Impulsivity, B. Hyperactivity, C. Inattention, D. Learning disability. Please type in your answers po. Okay. Yes po. The answer for number 9 is letter B. Naku, wala akong answer pa. Ay, akala ko hindi ako answer. Okay. Letter B po for number 9. Ano po ba yung ADHD? Okay. Pag sinabing ADHD, ang unang pumapasok ninyo yung mga magugulong students, di ba? Oo, 'di ba? Usually yung mga hindi maka-focus, tayo ng tayo, mga gano'n, gusto magpalipat palagi ng upuan, 'di ba? Usually. Actually, there are two types of this attention deficit disorder. One with hyperactivity, the other one doesn't have hyperactivity. Yung ADD, attention deficit disorder, more on attention focusing lang. Yung isa, ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Sige, himay-himayin po natin yung nasa options. Number 1, let us have hyperactivity. Okay? Yung hyperactivity po, yung excessive movements na or sa excessive activities. Okay? For examples na lang yung mga yung difficulties staying seated sa class, gusto tayo ng tayo, tapos yung salita ng salita, talking excessively, tapos parang may constant need sila to move, ganun, parang, or being on the go, talagang go na go din talaga sila. Yun yung hyperactivity. Okay? Yun yung excessive movements. Ganun. Okay? Actually, pag sa adulthood, medyo nababawasan naman na siya because of therapies and special education. Second po ay yung, ano po ba yung second doon? Sa baba na lang. Sa inattention na lang muna tayo. Nakalimutan ko yung isa. Inattention, syempre, yung difficulty focusing. Okay? Ano po yung manifestations niya sa classrooms. Okay, makinig po tayo sa inattention, okay? Pag hyperactivity, tandaan ninyo, Kasama din dyan yung fidgeting ng hands or feet, kung ano-anong gustong galawin. Tapos, difficulty staying seated. Sa inattention, yun yung lagi silang nagkakaroon ng careless mistakes sa schoolworks or tasks nila. Halimbawa, hindi nila na capital letter, mga ganun. Kasi, baka nung binigay yung instruction, hindi sila nakafocus or inattentive sila during those times. Tapos, nahihirapan din sila sa lectures na ganito. Kaya yung mga umalis po, yung mga umalis po, ganun. No, but like, nahihirapan talaga sila to sustain their attention during the class. Or, kahit sa mga lectures, ganyan, kahit nga sa conversations minsan, parang nag-iiba-iba sila ng topic. Yung mga may ADD or ADHD, diba? Madali talaga silang madistract. Okay? Usually, ang lumalabas lang dyan sa let, yung careless mistakes. Tapos, yung sa conversations, yung attention during conversations. Tapos, kasama din dyan actually yung, pag may lagi kayong nakakalimutan, nawawala, ganun, yung nawawala yung mga ganito, tapos nakalimutan kung saan nilagay, ganun. Pero hindi naman yung parang normal lang na nawala nyo talaga. Talagang na kayo. Talagang baka stressed lang kayo noon. Pero yung sa kanila, talagang malala. Sapatos nila, or yung medyas, nakalimutang mag-medyas, mga ganong types and levels po. Number 3 is impulsivity. Ayan yung mga impulsive. Diyan impulsive buyer ba? Ganun, impulsive shopping, mga ganun ba? So, acting without considering the consequences of their actions. Okay? So, basically, example lang natin dyan yung kapag ini-interrupt ka nila habang nagsasalita ka, tapos bilang, ay teacher, alam niyo ba yung ganon. O kaya yung pagbigla na lang sasabihin yung sagot, ganon. Ano pa ba? Impulsivity, pag yung ayaw nilang mag-wait sa line, nahihirapan sila, ganon. Tapos, of course, yung hasty decisions na ginagawa nila without thinking of the consequences of their decisions. Very impulsive sila. Yung learning disability hindi siya kasama, of course, sa ADHD or ADD. Hindi ibig sabihin na may learning disability sila or intellectual disability sila. Okay? Pag learning disability, ano po ulit yan? Yun yung dyslexia, dysgraphia, or dyscalculia. Ayan, specific learning disability. Pero it could be taken into pwede rin siyang gawing actually, in general, na learning disability. Okay. Next, we have, isama ata natin yung mga kasama sa wait, pasensya na po, na ko ulit yung aking mga. Ayan, yung mga kasama ulit sa OHI, yung other health impairment, okay? Kasama po yan sa ADHD, ang ADHD kasama sa other health impairment. Kasama rin sa other health impairment yung heart conditions, yung cancer, sabi ko rin po, ano pa ba? Yung mga sickle cell disease, mga ganyan. Okay? Ano po ba yun? Yung yes. Tapos pati po yung mga metabolic disorders katulad ng yung sa thyroid disorders, kasama din po yan. Mga autoimmune disorders, kasama rin actually sila sa SPED. Pero sa ibang bansa po yun. Dito po sa Pilipinas, iba po yung ating iba po yung pina-follow natin. Pero sa ibang bansa, sa IDEA, kasama po sila. Let's go to the next question, last question. Naku, pasensya na po, nag-isang oras na naman si Madam. Next question, let's have, what role does universal design for learning play in inclusive education? A, it eliminates the need for accommodations in classrooms. B, it provides one-size-fits-all approach. C, it ensures teaching methods and materials are accessible to all learners. And then D, it focuses solely on physical accessibility in schools. Type in your answers po. Yes, of course. It's number five. Ay, number five. In number five, it's letter C, rather. Okay. So, ano po ba yan? Ano po ba yung universal design for learning? Sige, irasyo lang muna natin para mabilis. Ano? Sabi dito, number one ay, it eliminates the need for accommodations in classrooms. Siyempre, dahil tatanggalin yung accommodations, essential strategy po yan. And adaptation sa SPED. So, tanggal siya kaagad. One size fits all approach, hindi naman dahil kailangan flexible tayo in catering to all learners. Kailangan hindi silang mag-adjust. Tayong mga educators ang mag-adjust or the system should adjust. Okay? And yung letter D kanina, it focuses solely on physical accessibility in schools. Ayan, syempre very fixated naman sa physical accessibility lang. Pero ang UDL po kasi ay kasama niya ay ang categories or components po niya ay yung tinatawag nating REA. Okay? REA. REA, representation, engagement, and action and expression. Pag sinabi nating representation, how the information is presented. Okay? Ano po ba? Gumamit ba siya ng videos? Is it visual? Is it auditory? Videos ba? Or lecturing lang? Or may hands-on activities ba para ma-convey mo yung lesson mo para yung instruction mo ay very hands-on? Ganun ba? Engagement, how the students are motivated. So, how are they motivated? Example, siguro yung offering choices. Okay? For example, you could sing, you could dance, you could perform a theater through this story, ganun sa English, di ba? Or nagfo-foster ba yon ng collaboration among the students? Tapos, engagement kasama din yung kung connected ba, kung personal ba, or does it target the personal interests of the student? Next, yung action and expression, parang paano dine-demonstrate ng students yung learning nila? Ano yung way of responding ng students? Representation, tandaan, how the information is presented, engagement, how the students are motivated, and action and expression, how the students demonstrate their learning. Okay? Ito, UDL, Universal Design for Learning, you could read more about it kasi kasama din po usually siya sa LET. Though sa previous LET, hindi siya kasama. Yung mga next 15 questions ko po, ayan, marami pong kasama sa last LET kasi I also consulted some of the students na nag-take po ng LET before. So, yun yung mga questions na sinabi nila, yung mga ideas na sinabi nila to me. Ayan, so UDL could promote equity, access, and success in education by making the curriculum inherently inclusive and adaptable for all students. Okay? So since it's a question number 5 po, that's the last question for this lecture. Maraming salamat po sa inyong participation. Yes, very good. Ayan, add one out lang. Opo. Ginagamit din natin yan. Yun yung mga tinatawag nating parang skills, test-taking skills na ginagamit natin when taking the board exam. Ayun, that's the end of this lecture po. Naku, maraming salamat po.